Hey everybody, I'm Diogen Z, here with another magazine collection video. This is kind of a spin-off series of me packing. I found these in my bookshelf and I wanted to show them off because it was an interesting collection that people watching this channel may or may not be interested in. Things like Yu-Gi-Oh, anime, and of course Pokemon. I sure hope you'd be interested in that if you're watching my channel. But in today's collection video, I'll be showing off the soft-covered Beckett magazines, the Beckett Anime Collector magazines that I collected over the years as a kid. Not in any specific order, not a full collection. In the last video, you can click an annotation. I went over this collection here, which was more the semi-hardcover Yu-Gi-Oh! Unofficial Collector Beckett magazines. So these were more of the grand spectrum of anime. They did cover Yu-Gi-Oh! Sets at the time. They would also cover my favorite Pokemon cards, and this went through all sorts of cards. It went through Dragon Ball Z cards. It would talk about Inuyasha, various animes that were on at the time, and things like that. So these came out, I think, a bit more frequent than the Yu-Gi-Oh! Collector ones did. And I mentioned in the last collector video that I was stupid as a kid and sometimes cut these videos, or not videos, but I don't know, I said video, cut these cards out of the magazines, and just looking through them, so far I have not marked any of them, but trust me, by the end of this video you will see a couple. So this was interesting because these are a bit more tattered than my other magazines. These were heavily read, I tell you. These were pretty much my reading material. This is what made me a good reader and great with words, was scanning through tons of Beckett Collector magazines. And there we go, leaving Larvitar, setting up. There you go, I remember this episode so well, with Tyranitar, and you didn't want to trust the humans. And this was the best when they would go over the top 25 EX cards and they would show you the coolest cards out there, because this was before I had any access to the internet. Oh, and Chobits. This was how I found out about Chobits, which is now one of my favorite animes of all time. So this was a very memorable magazine issue for me. You can tell by the wear and tear of it how much I've read these. And this was, I forget what this other kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! Spin-off card game was called. And I remember at the time it was trying to one-up Yu-Gi-Oh! Step it up, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Was still kicking ass at the time. And as a show, that other one just didn't really ring well with me. It didn't make sense. There's things like Dragon Ball. There's the fan art page. I always love the fan art. Got to see who of your fellow anime watchers were good artists themselves. And now with the internet, you can totally see that much more through DeviantArt. But before, you didn't know. And as I was saying, with me not having the internet to look up cards or anything dealing with computers, I relied on these magazines for all my information and cards. And I believe this issue had a free... Okay, so it was Duel Masters, that's what it was. The rip-off of Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Masters. Trying to say, we take dueling to a new level. We've mastered it. We call it Duel Masters. Game Boy Advance SP. This is so many memories. Oh, hello, Hoenn. This was when the Hoenn region was just coming out, them rating the shows. And the Hoenn region was pretty much where I stopped watching the anime, I believe. But I kept collecting the cards after that for a little bit longer. Didn't collect the cards of the 4th gen, though. And, you know, this was... Again, they went through all the greatest animes, portable DVD players and such in their advertisement section to entice you to bring anime on the road. And this would show me the coolest cards without having to purchase them all, because there was no way I was going to collect them all. I knew that as a kid. There was no way I would ever be able to do that. So it was cool to just witness the images. And that's also why I do these kind of videos too. Witness the images videos, because you may not have, or you may have collected these magazines, and so it has a certain nostalgia sense for you too if you did collect it. But if you didn't, you get to see something from the past of an interesting time frame that was very big on what you're probably into now. And so you get to experience collecting this without really collecting it, and you get a short peek at what was going on at the time. And this was during the Latios and Latios movie. Interesting film. Wasn't one of my favorites, but it was pretty cool. It was alright. Yeah, but these magazines are responsible, undoubtedly, for making me an otaku, and still being a huge anime fan today. Yes, it was mainly focused on Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Duel Masters at the time, too, with a lot of these later issues, I suppose, but it really did branch out, and it touched on a lot of animes that you wouldn't think would be advertised to someone of an age group of Pokemon, maybe. But that was what was great about the Beckett magazine, is it didn't really limit itself in the content that it produced. It just went all out. I remember that. That was, I think my little brother actually got a plastic one of those, and it had little slots in it for cards. I think about that now, the technology of it all, and we're close. We're, as far as 3D goes, we can see 3D Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters as we can Pokemon monsters, but next step of technology is definitely holograms. Oh, and this is an old one. This was a very well-read one. And this was at the time of the Dueling Dice series, the mini-series, there you go, Dungeon Monsters of Yu-Gi-Oh! When they decided to add a dice element to it for some reason. Oh, see, there you go, cut pages. Crime! Criminal! Criminal! But, yeah, that was my intense love of everything to do with Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Caused me to cut those out. This was Duel Masters poster inside, so yep, posters inside of these. I don't think any of the posters remain. Maybe I left the Duel Masters one in. Oh, this was always cool too. Some of the issues would have special manga in them. I'm not sure. I think that they read the correct way, that being right to left, the correct traditional manga way. And again, more Pokemon cards. Probably my favorite parts of the Beckett magazine overall. I think often I would just skip to these sections and just look at them there. And this was when Hoenn was new, and for me, that was how, again, I got news about Hoenn region, and there was no Cerebi for me at the time. So these Beckett anime magazines were the coolest. And I want to know by you guys in the comments section, how did you used to find out new news about your favorite games? Like, look at this, Pokemon Colosseum. I remember this game vividly. This I will be definitely doing an LP of in the future. But I remember Pokemon Colosseum. I got it with my GameCube. It was one of the first games I actually got. And that and Mario Kart Double Dash. But I was so excited to have finally gotten a 3D Pokemon game. And I had always wanted one so long. I missed out on the N64 generation because I wasn't gaming then. And Pokemon was not even a part of my repertoire back then. I just was not allowed to have it. So, Pokemon Colosseum was so big, I didn't have a memory card. And I played up to, I think, the first city, and I got through the first Colosseum and everything. This was great. Character Zone. I do remember these characters faintly. because I did actually watch some of the shows. Oh, this was a great article. Fire Red Leaf Green generation. I actually, that sets me on a different tangent. Fire Red Leaf Green generation. I remember WB Kids, that TV station that hosted Pokemon. They had some contest going on for Leaf Green and Fire Red generation. Oh, this is just a, well, that's not good. At least I've got the cover. Alright, so unfortunately I don't know what that was from. But it was from one. And I think I might have copies of this. Didn't we, I don't know. This looks like a familiar one. Go to Johto. Oh yeah, but before I get on the tangent of WB Kids and the giveaway, I wanted to ask you guys, how did you used to find out about your favorite games and anime? Were you online back when you were younger, or did you rely on TV shows, things you heard around recess, and magazines such as this? So anyway, they were hosting some kind of contest, and I forget. Oh, more anime manga fold out. And I forget, it was something like send in or click into the website. I think that's what it was, the code, if you watched in the morning the show. And so they give you the code. And I remember that was one of the first times I actually did use websites and stuff like that. And I'd used it previously, of course, to go on to Pokemon.com and check out the Pokedex that they had online back then. But so I entered the code, and I actually did it twice, and managed to get one of my favorite booster set of all time, of course, Deoxys. But I managed to receive 2 booster themed decks of what was it called? The Leaf Green. Yes, the Leaf Green themed deck. I was trying to think of the Ivysaur, what they called that one, but it was the Leaf Green themed deck, and it featured Ivysaur. So managed to get 2 of those from them, and one day I'll have to find those cards and show them in a video, because that was pretty cool. It's like one of the few times I had actually won something in a contest. Oh, this was great. The EX, or not EX, but the e-reader cards, when they were still doing those, and also the Pokemon channel. I actually had bought into the Pokemon channel, and it was funny for a while, but unfortunately my GameCube disc somehow got scratched up and dirty, and I was never able to complete the damn game, but it's alright, because it was kind of poor quality anyway. I would never count on a LP of that on my channel. I've already done Pokemon Rumble, a game that I didn't really want to LP, but did it for the sake of showing off another Pokemon game as a Pokemon channel mainly. But you know, it all meshes: Pokemon, anime, Yu-Gi-Oh!, all that kind of stuff coming together. And these videos just branch the gaps, and yeah, look at that. Like I said, they didn't care how old you were. They had these out on the racks of 7-Elevens. Every morning my mom would take me there before school. She'd get coffee, I'd get a magazine, and I'd be set for the day. See, Pokemon is good for education. Forces kids to want to read, especially when they're reading the Pokemon cards. This was one of my favorite articles. I remember this vividly because it had so many cool cards. Yep. And now, if you'd look on my hard drive, you'd see I'd have many JPEGs. Kick to the crotch. Now you'd see I'd have many cards archived in JPEG form. And here's one of the last ones. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. That was when things were going downhill. That's when the series was taking its turn. There's the Pokemon. It'd be really cool if somebody saw their fan art and from years ago they'd be like, I knew that fan art. That was the one I sent in. Highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. But the last but not least, this was a bonus Yu-Gi-Oh! Article that really was just kind of a bonus thing, not tied into Beckett and this issue. So thank you guys for watching. In the next episode I'll be going over my Pokemon magazines and Nintendo Power. See you.